This sculpture, Crisis, represents a crisis in my life, and a very disturbing period in my life. I live on a cliff 300 feet above the ocean in a bay that many fishermen and yachtsmen and people traveling up and down the coast use to sleep in during the nights. And very often in bad weather, people are stranded. They can't get around the point because of the wind and the currents. And they try getting out about 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning, and the currents are so strong they're forced back. And many times I've had shipwrecked people and people in distress come up to the house looking for help. And on one occasion, this gentleman came up who'd been stuck for 4 days. And he needed a place to stay for a day or two until some friends could come and help and get him out of there. So he's very appreciative, and we said goodbye, and I never heard from him again. Then a couple of years later, some other sailors were in distress. Their boat drifted ashore during the night, and I gave them shelter. And ultimately, they brought me a very bad experience, coming back a month or two later with some riffraff they got involved with, and they broke into the house and stole several sculptures. And the pain of that experience stayed with me for quite a while and was a crisis. And I decided the only way I could really get rid of it was carve something beautiful by working it out of my system. And so, at the time I was making that decision, one day a great lump of wood was left in front of my door. This great, tremendous lump of walnut. And it was from that man that I had saved the first experience. And he just left it, thank you, and no other message. And so I decided, well, here's a positive experience from the sea to combat a negative experience from the sea. They both drifted into my own life. And so I thought crisis continually while I was making this. I kept concentrating on that story and transferring my feelings into this. And I certainly want everyone to see what they see on their own. I'm certainly sure that this could represent many things for a different consciousness. But for me, it was, here are the two eyes, this is the mouth, this is the dome of the skull, and these are all the efforts to shield yourself from these aggravating experiences that attack us in life. This is the optic nerve passing through. And that sense of crisis was completely expressed for me, and I had something beautiful out of it, and I finished all my philosophical turmoil with it, and I got something beautiful out of it, and I forgot all the rest of it, except for this experience.
All right. That's great.
It's a good thing the ashtray's over here. Additional point I wanted to make was that almost all of my wood has come to me from other people. Or I've spied it in a wood pile or a piece of timber from a construction project in Big Sur. I've used a lot of the old Big Sur bridge timbers because it's the most aged and high quality wood that exists in terms of redwood. The trees were 1,000 years old when the timbers were made, and they spent another 30 or 40 years on the wooden bridges, so they're fabulous quality wood. And a rancher in Big Sur who bulldozed the trees for the public school saved many, many of the giant trees in their bases and gave them to me, and Moses and the statue of Elizabeth Taylor and John the Baptist were all done with this tremendous